Welcome in, and we already have our, please give if you would. I do a lot of work. Today is my second recording. My new recording is I have a list already down, and we're going to get started. We just did, thank you for our last video, brought Whitney Webb, played her 10-minute video to break down what's going on behind the scenes with surveillance and Minority Report, because I knew, I said, that's a movie, and I couldn't remember. I knew it was Tom Cruise, and then I had to look it up real quick on my phone, on my senior moment, and I was like, ooh, Minority Report. That's it. This is, I mean, the movie, when was remote, you know, when you look at these movies, and I'm deep diving in a lot of movies and series that are telling us the reality, and I'm surprised how many of them were made in the 90s and early 2000s that were connected to like different things, like one with the connection to Gnosticism is unbelievable of what this world is, the simulation, right? The mirrored holographic reality that we actually live in, and it's been protected by giving us false histories, false education systems, telling us played out lies. And to protect whoever's the investor, right? And I haven't got into it because I'm really ready to get into Inky and Enlil. I've got that actually on my notes as one of my shows, or one of the episodes I want to do. Let's talk about Enlil and Inky and the Sumerian, and even with Marduk, about Marduk's connection to what we call creating what we call the zodiac. What does that mean? How different entities or different archetypes who played out in the past, what we call the past, which may not really be the past, come in another meat suit and look like somebody or resemble somebody that was from the past. We've seen that with Alexander the Great and Trump, or not Alexander the Great and Trump. It's not Alexander the Great. I think Alexander the Great's barren. It was somebody else though with Trump. It was the certain king of was connected to helping Israel when it left Babylon, and I can't remember his name of course. But what I said about who it is what it was. Is that one. I've seen a picture of him in the past, and it's like, God, Trump looks just like him. And it's just not the left, right, it's not the left. We got to break that. That's the same side. It's just the same coin, just the other side. Heads or tails, or the left wing or the right wing. On Capitol Hill, which is the same name as the Rome's Capitol Hill. It's Rome continuance. Rome's never went away. But anyways, and this is why we're getting in today's episode. I got one that really hit me. I would call this one given to me on Gnosis of the reality. And I framed this in a certain way. And when I framed it, it really came out really on course of the meaning of it. And I was like, whoa, you're hitting on something. Hey, Ivan said, you're hitting on something here. And which happened recently with one of my other videos. Is, ooh, this is brilliant how you put the 3 tiers of one. Remember, I tiered off the pyramid or the pillars of Gnosis or Revelation, Discernment, and Discernment, Revelation. There's another one of those 3: Discernment, Revelation, and was it Gnosis? No, Intuition. No, not Gnosis, Intuition. Which then I kind of wrapped it all up within Gnosis, these 3 pillars within it. And it was like, oh, this is very good how you put this together. And I was like, see, when it comes, and I know when it's coming from within me. I know my Gnosis. That's why I said when I give the show, when you come in here, do you know Gnosis? It's like, do you have milk? Do you have Gnosis? Remember the old commercials? Do you have milk? Come in here. Do you have Gnosis? Because Gnosis will help you walk through the door, because now you're knowing your greater connection to who you are. And I mean, I got so much. I got a song. I got movies on the list that I've watched recently that I'm going to go over. and also some more songs that when they kind of got recalled to me. It says like within me, go look at this song. I mean, just the other day I was in a dream and I kept hearing. It was like whenever I moved in the dream from the left to the right, I was kind of watching myself, right? This little song would play, this little nursery rhyme would play and say, pocket pull, how's it go? Round the, what was it? Round the tree or what? Pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, now fall down. Ring around the roses was play. And then immediately I got up, I go, something about the song, and I looked it up, and what I asked exactly is what I got from it. Exactly like, oh, you're on course. It is connected to something I'm going to get into that I haven't got into yet. It's an episode down the line, a few more episodes, after some more movies we'd get into. I seen a movie recently called Brick, made in 2025. I mentioned on the last video, German movie, very interesting. Brick is very interesting, yes. We got the song, of course. We're going to revisit Hotel California. I see this a whole lot different. And also, the breakdown of They Live. We're going to do that. And I got another song for you. We're going to have in a future episode. There's this old saying called the movie The Brick, Eyed Wide Shut. And also, there's this thing called Ring Pass Not. It was connected to Samsara. And this is when I kept hearing this in my dream, and I looked it up. I go, is this connected to life? And because when I started analyzing the marriage, I was like, ring around a rose, these pocket full of posies, ashes, they all fall down. And I was like, is this really us falling back into the life, breath, the rebirth again of samsara, or just falling back down because you're not able to magnetize yourself up, and you're being brought back into this reality to come back, Jack, and do it again, right? It also led me to a movie within this, and it was The Ring was talking about samsara. The movie The Ring that was made, 10, 12 years ago, and that's another one, right? Kind of looking. Also, another song I'm going to put in there, Grand Illusion by Styx. I thought I had this in here. Grand Illusion. This song is outstanding, because this is a song, when you listen to the words, is pushing you to get your understanding and not falling trapped to the illusion. Where the Hotel California is not that. I'm just being honest. It's not that. It's the opposite. And what we see for California now, I'm going to tell you what, is that song. Is that song. All you people moved out, and they're trying to even get you to back tax you're leaving California. You can check out but never leave. Think about it. But anyways, Grand Illusion by Styx will be another thing. We're going to have some great episodes. We are going to revisit again some more Whitney Webb. We are going to even have another, we're going to get into the goddesses again, the feminine aspect coming out in a greater form. We're going to have episodes with that. I got a lot. It's been coming to me, and a lot's going to come out of it. I'm even going to put in here, we're going to go into the Norse mythology. I'm going to even check out the feminine aspect of Norse, too. And I'm adding something here. I'm about mythology, feminine aspect of the possibility of samsara connected to it. That will come in another time. I'm just putting this in, saving it, my list. I'm at 50, switching a little bit. I'm at a little over 50 poems. I'm about ready to close out the last 2 editing, and I believe that I will call that a wrap, and then I will go to the book, creating the book that I'm creating, that I'm doing right now, that I've been doing for a few months, with my story told through poems of consciousness with Gnosticism and whatever truths come out of it, of awareness, telling a story. It even goes with aspects of my life. So, yes, we're going to do that. So, without any more, because I'm going to get into this, something came to me, and I deep dived into it, and let's look at it. The name of this episode, Illusion Becomes Reality, and then the inversion becomes the norm. That's what kind of hit me, not recent. So if you see it, right? If you see it, that's what I put. Your statement aligns with several Sophia, notice the word Sophia, philosophical. That's why you see in the Greek, Sophia, philosophical, because Sophia means wisdom. Because philosophical, I definitely see the connection of Greek in it. Cognitive and social theories were a subjective perception or simulation. The illusion eventually dictates behavior, shapes the world reality, leading to a new inverted form. I believe when we really break this down, this is where we live and have been in. It's like an aspect of when we used to take pictures before the digital age. We were always given with the old cameras. We always had negatives would come with them. When you got the pictures back, the negatives would come with them of the picture. I believe the negatives is connected to the reality we live in. Because, and this would go with the story of Enki and Enlil. Many of these ancient stories that we're living in a holographic reality that we have to go through. Many New Age have said you have to go through the school of learning within this. Gnostics will say you're trapped in a fake reality by a God that's not the all-powerful. He created a miracle world, but he lacks wisdom and lacks knowledge. And you've been trapped in a physical form in this. Many don't want to hear the trap. The trap is that you don't know that you're doing it because you're the forgetfulness or the illusionary aspect. In Hinduism, it's called Maya. See, this isn't brand new. This is thousands of years ago. Scientists have tapped into this the last 30, 40. There's some stories, some that were really pushed, actually found out about it roughly 100 years ago, but they weren't acknowledged because they were not part of the system. And I would always buy those men or women, but mostly men, who would say that because we know what the system is. Here at West Coast Uncensored. So here, let's get into this a little bit. The illusion becomes a reality. The construction of perception. One of the biggest traps here, I think, is giving you false perceptions. Not allowing your natural, highest conscious perception that breaks the plane apart, that shatters the glass, that shatters the illusion. You're giving false perceptions that are really not built on the truth, but inverted. Inversions. It's backwards. Movies have said this. I mean, what was a trip when I watched Dark City, right? When John Murdoch took control of the reality, all of a sudden it went from Dark City to Light City, and if you looked at the picture of it, it showed the base plane of it going from inversion to right side up, and then the sun appeared. That's telling us a symbolic story, and that's what this is all about. Symbols. I think Confucius said this. Some say he didn't. But he said symbols. And what did he say? Symbols rule the world and run the world. And it might be not just symbols. It might be symbols and letters or something else. I'm missing the whole, not saying it, but symbols is part of it. Symbols are everywhere. If you go look in Plantier in the last video we did, it has symbols. When you decode the symbols, this is all occult knowledge, super occult knowledge. And the masses think occult means evil. It doesn't. If the user uses it for the pretense of control and power, they are evil. The symbol within itself isn't necessarily evil. That's where you find out what's the difference between an esoteric and exoteric. A bunch of exoteric people going out screaming shit and don't have any understanding of shit. That's what really starts to get, weighs on me. It's like, oh my God, here they come again. But anyways, instead, seeming the construct a seamless illusion of the world from a sensory snapshots. If the brain interprets a perception as real, it functions in a reality for the observer. Remember, we talked about being the observer. When you get in the state of being the observer, you see through the illusions, through the mist. You got to see through the mist. That's what mystics do. They see through the mist. Mysterious. These words all mean something deeper than a shallow exoteric meaning. That's shallow water. Constructivism. Psychopolitical. This is where everything's political. Even the religions are political because politics gives you religion, esoteric knowledge, exoteric knowledge, dogma, indoctrination to keep you at bay so you never fight their belief systems. Then they slowly started giving you entertainment, which we understood was circuses and bread. So you don't question all their moves that don't benefit the people. That's when they start calling the people, and the people or realize they're under a system where they are the sheep or they are the pets, or most likely they really are considered animal husbandry. Shared beliefs, money, national identity, social rules that over time are accepted as hard truth, acting as a persistent illusion that dictates behavior. They're illusionary. They're not real. Nothing backs any money. That's why it's getting ready to go bang, bang. It's going to fall. The system's falling. It's falling fast. Simulacra and hyper-reality. In Jean Bartholin's theory, represents of a reality media virtual worlds replace the original reality, becoming more real to the people than the real itself. And this is what we're talking about. This is what was hitting me, that we are living in. When you're unconscious, you are eating the illusion, which goes back to Maya, goes back to the I Ching. That's why, have you guys even, when you watch Man on the High Castle, the Japanese man, Tagamoe, I believe, who's waking up, time traveling, he's doing this stuff. He used the I Ching through meditation and through a amulet, or through not an amulet, but a little thing he had, a stone, or there's a word I'm looking for, I'm not remembering right now. It's like an amulet, and he goes into meditation, and he would go from one reality to the other. And in the show, he was going into a reality. He was in a reality where the Japanese run the West Coast, because the winners of the war were the opposite. But when he walked through the other reality, it was reversed into the reality we know. So this is what's happened to us. We're living in this reality thinking it's a real, and it's not. This is the thing where the Gnostics would say you came from another state of the real, in a place above this where you are light beings, and this is just an illusionary, and the one running the show ain't the master. He's a master of just the physical form, but has a system to use you, farm you for your aura or your gold, which is your essence. That's why he's the jealous God, because he don't really have that. Ooh. Facts. This goes hand in hand with, that's the story. That's the Gnostic true Christianity story before Rome made it a political movement. He likes this, watch this. So the people really, and this is what's happened, people think this is real, and when you wake up, and I mean really wake up through the process, and unravel the unraveling within you. Go to the Sophia stage, where you are the being before the being. You start seeing and observing the illusions as the illusions start to fall within you, and you think you're losing everything because you feel the heaviness go away, and you're wondering, why do I feel this and I'm light? It's because the illusions are being eradicated. They're dissolving within you. Number 2, inversion becomes the norm. Inversion, reverse thinking, the backwards, I call it involves challenging standard approaches by thinking backwards. looking at the opposite of desired outcomes to find unconventional solutions. This is something they're giving you, but this wouldn't be the real, what I'm talking about. This is more some of the things people do in business to try to change things. There's truth to this, but it's also, you have to look at this in a different aspect, the inversion of thinking of this, how to find unconventional solutions. But let's read farther. Reality inversion technique, a method that people intentionally turn negative situations on their head, using humor to turn despair into opportunity, thus making the inversion of a problem the new managed reality. We're finding out it's not the true reality. So I like the institutional inversion. Look at this. Has seen in dysfunctional systems, because this is a dysfunctional baby boy. If you don't see it, you're blind. If you don't realize this place brings no peace, war, it's a war whore. Yeah, I said it. It's a war. Place of war. Always war to make, plus for them elite, and make the regular people suffer trauma, death, and despair all the time, and then take their essence. Thievery is what it is. The public-facing facade, the lie, becomes the accepted norm. This is what we have here. While the reality hidden, turning the traditional concept of truth upside down, that's the inversion. The perpetual inversion, in aviation, for example, a pilot can experience an inversion illusion, feeling that they're turning over, causing them to fly in a way that's actually dangerous, but feels correct to them. That's an illusion within flying. Yeah, that's now let's take this into metaphysics of the reality of the knowing this is when you make something that is not the real and not the full truth. And this is what Maya was telling you. This is what ancient teachings telling you. This is what now we're looking at in a holographic reality telling us in a simulation. This is a simulation. This is an offbeat simulation from the real, because the real layered truths are not just on top of each other, they're layered within each other. And when the veil is being thinned like now, they run into each other. That's when you get Mandela effects. And Mandela effects. And you start seeing things seem like they're real within this. And you know that it was different at one time. But then you look and say, why is it different? I know that this company or this commercial said this. Now you're saying it doesn't say this, but then people came up with pictures showing this. We're having this, or you may have even experienced it personally within your life. Some people have. A fabricated or misperceived idea illusion is treated as true. I was hoping it would give me something else to kind of go with it. Let's do this in AI real quick. So I got a question to ask. This might even be better. It represents a perversion of reality or simulation. Now that's the good words there. Getting strong with it. A procession of simulation, where the signs and symbols of reality proceed to determine the real itself. How illusion becomes reality. Constructed beliefs. This is even religion on the low thing. If you're believing the dogma and doctrine, you're illusionary. They're illusions. Exoterics, illusionary, lower program thinking. And it starts with your churches and your politics and your educational system. How illusion becomes, I'm going to ask, when you wake up, when you realize this is what I'm going to ask. I'm going to even put like the movie Dark City. And John Murdoch. I'm adding that in there. Like he found out when he realized it. I'm asking a question here. Is the illusion... What happens when you find out that it's an illusion? Realizing the realities and inversion, much like John Murdoch discovers in the 1998 film Dark City, a profound existence shift in that story. Murdoch's awakening reveals his entire world is an artificial construct. This is what the Gnostic Christians were telling us, or the Gnostics. The knowers. The word Gnostic means knowers. They didn't necessarily call themselves Gnostics. It was a brand put on because they considered themselves, they're knowers. They're not looking for believers. Believing is, yeah. If you're here any amount of time, you know what we go in about believing. It's a construct, a city of eternal light floating in space where the identities, environments are swapped every midnight by mysterious beings called the strangers. The stitching of the illusion. Plato's cave. I'm asking what happens when we see it now. Is it the same reaction as the movie? That's my question. This is AI. Talking to it, giving to AI, see what it gives me. The world today often feels like a direct deflection of that because we are increasingly living in a manufactured environment where information memories are digitally implanted and swapped in real time. It's trying to keep me in the movie realm. Paralyzed between now, fabricated collective memories. Right? Goes on and on. Shell Beach, that's the story. I was really trying. It's giving me other movies, breaking and tuning in. Asking you, how do I see the strangers of its institutions and stuff like that. We will not go any farther with that in that one. We will head out. Yeah. This is what's happened. The acceptance of the illusion in an illusionary inverted reality, hence the Gnostic story and take on Christianity of this place, of the Old Testament creation of that I went over, of the garden, which really wasn't a garden. Was it a lab or was it an ironclad dark iron prison, or both? That is the question. Do you have gnosis? Would be my answer to that. As we see reality continue and why we've been told little dimes through our times. Oh, history always repeats itself. Think about that. If we were a true reality, wouldn't we learn from our history and tweak it, change it, if we didn't want the same outcome? Or is it a simulacra, like the story says, where in this space and place, it doesn't happen? It repeats. Repeat and repeat. I think that was Little Rascals, right? There's a scripture in the book of Thomas, or in that verse in the book of Thomas, that says, when you use what you have in you, you live and do not, how's it go, and do not die. But when you don't, you destroy yourself. Powerful, powerful book of Thomas scripture. I don't have where it is right now. It just kind of came out now. I didn't come in. I haven't brought any of those scriptures, which I will again. Just to deviate, living this in the real world now. Not saying that's very aided, but we do different things here. I like that. Here. What's going on here? And that's the key thing of why when you start seeing the illusion of the inversion, that's why you would see even in the Christianity talking about a cross. Talking about an inverted cross, because it's an inverted reality. Up is down and down is up. And then the opposite of love is not hate. It's not caring. And then you have a cremation of care by them that call themselves magicians. But in this whole reality, once you get behind the screen or pull the curtain back, what magic's going on? Is it just that you've deceived us with hands quicker than the eye? But when I see behind the curtain, I see the game. It's an illusionary game. It's all built on illusions. Kind of like when we look at The Wizard of Oz. When Judy Garland pulls back that curtain and says, "What? You're the one running this reality? You diminutive little twerp, nerdy looking jackal. I could whip your butt now if I wanted to. Me being a teenage girl, I'd take you down real quick, physically." The inversion becomes a norm when the illusion is accepted as being the truth. But the truthers are waking up and seeing the inversion and the illusion and are saying, "No, we're going to turn this mother upside down, right side up." Or is this the negative plane of how it is? Yeah, in this place. We will be back with some more. You guys have a great day, but think about this. This kind of one that came out of me, and I said it and then fed it back to AI, and it brought it out and said, whoa, and then I even said this when you start looking at it. But you guys have a great day.